guys, this is Levi coming to you from Three Dragons Sports Bar in Hoi An, bringing you my tips, or my part of the tips, for round number 22 of the AFL. Cracking round, kicks off with a blockbuster game, Friday night footy. Pies up against the Cats at the G. Massive game. Pies coming off 2 losses in a row, and a shocking loss to the Hawks. That was unexpected, I would say. Dyke us out for probably the next 6-7 weeks. So yeah, the Pies showing some vulnerability and picking up a few injuries here and there. Geelong with a good win over Port at home, despite having a few injuries ourselves. Gonna be a tough game, but I fancy the Cats to get up in this one. I think we'll finish the season strong, sneak into the 8, and then who knows, everything's possible from there.
That'll be a tough game, I think. Collingwood, couple of losses. Geelong kind of been up and cold, hot and cold. Really don't know who to pick in this one. I think lean Collingwood at the moment, but yeah, don't really know.
Saturday, the Roos up against the Bombers.
The Bombers are just scraping through. Just got a win over the Eagles on the weekend. Yeah, North can't really pick them, so I'm going to hesitantly tip the Bombers to try and have a push for the 8. Then we've got the Swans at home to the Gold Coast. Wow, Swans have really bounced back in the last few weeks, and they're going to have a crack for the 8. So yeah, I'm leaning towards the Swannies at home in this one. So I think they might get the win.
Swannies coming off a massive win for them in the City Derby. Didn't pick them to win that one, but got up. And they're right in the mix as well, so I think I fancy them to beat the Suns, who are probably after last week out of the race. Then Lions at the Gabba up against the Crows. Massive game. I think the Crows will have a good crack at it, but at the Gabba, Lions just don't lose at the Gabba, so I fancy the Lions to get up in a Gabba game.
Always hard to pick against the Lions at the Gabba. It's going to be a close game though, this one. But yeah, I think that the Lions will win this one and really push for a top 2 position.
Then we get another cracker in Blues against the D's. Massive game. Both teams in good form. This one, I'm gonna go D's. I think they'll have Clayton Oliver back, which is a massive in, and I think they're just a touch better than the Blues. So I fancy the D's.
Blues on a run. They're looking pretty hot, and I'm going to tip the Blues to get the win over the D's, and that'll help the Lions get into that top 2, I reckon. Then we got the local derby over there in Western Australia, West Coast versus Freo. Freo had a tough loss to the Lions on the weekend, and so did the West Coast. Actually, had lost by a point or something to the Bombers. Yeah, this could go either way. I'm going to lean towards Freo in this one. Slightly better team, but I think the West Coast usually do pretty well in this derby at home there. But I'm going to tip the Dockers.
Got to fancy the Dockers. They've been a bit better recently. And yeah, Eagles at home, but Dockers like to play down there as well. So I think it should be Dockers in that one. Then Sunday we've got Hawks against Bulldogs to start things off. That one is down in Tassie, and I think I'm going to pick that as my upset for the round. I think Hawks coming off a good win over the Pies. Not only a good win, an amazing win over the Pies. Bulldogs are going okay, but I think down in Tassie, like the Hawks got a good sneaky chance to get up. So I'm going to pick the Hawks just to make up some ground. If you're up the top of your tipping comp, don't necessarily recommend that one, but for me, I think it's an interesting pick to try and make up some ground, so I'll go with that one.
Hawks had a great win on the weekend, so that's interesting. Bulldogs, you think that they're the better team and will probably get the win in this one. I think the Bulldogs will win, but I'm depending whether I need to move up in our tipping comp ladder, or this could be one where you could go a sneaky Hawks bet in here, and I think not many people will tip them. Leaning towards Bulldogs, but I don't know. I might have a cheeky switch towards the end of this week. Then we got St Kilda up against the Tigers. So, yeah, tough one, you know. I think Saints are higher on the ladder. They've got a lot to play for. Tigers are going to give them a real good run. I'm leaning towards an upset in this one, and I'm leaning towards the Tigers for no other reason than just extra pressure on the Saints, and sometimes pressure can make a team crumble a little bit.
That one, I'm going to go Tigers. Should be a close game, but the Saints won 3 out of their last 8 games, and all 3 of those wins were against the Eagles, the Roos, and the Hawks. So all the bottom teams. Barely got home against the Eagles and the Roos. Beat the Hawks semi-convincingly, but I think the Saints are not playing good footy, and I think the Tigers will touch them up. And finally, we got Port at home to the Giants in another massive game in the context of how the 8 will shape up. I'm going to pick Port despite losing the last 4 in a row. They've been playing really tough opposition, loads of outs. A lot of their guys who are out with illness should be back for this
Port
game.
Adelaide, yeah, I mean, they've been on a little bit of a slide, end of the season. They're going to need to turn it around if they want to be a contender coming into the final series. And the Giants, we're on a great run, and they've just dropped off as well. So they're really now pushing for that 8. Leaning towards a home team in Port Adelaide in this one, just because it's the home team, and if it's a 50-50 call, got to go the home team. So, yeah, Port in this one, try and get their season back on track and push for that top 4 position. So there's my tips for the week. Good luck to you, everyone. I'll be back in Hoi An next week with Levi giving our tips. So
there you go. There's my tips for the round, and best of luck with your tips. See you next week.